Hey guys, what's up? It's Dusty here, back with another crypto video, and today is going to be a pretty serious video. I have a couple of points that I really want to address and a couple of theories that I really want to talk about with you guys. But before we get into any of that, make sure you go ahead and press the like button on this video right now, because we do give away $200 worth of XRP every single day if we hit the amount of likes that I want. And in this case, all that you have to do is press the like button on this video, comment something down below, and have the notification bell on. And if we can hit 400 likes within 24 hours, you'll see a giveaway winner announced tomorrow. Make sure you go ahead and do all of that, and that's how you enter. So I don't know if you guys are following me on Twitter already. The name on there is TheDustyBC. Make sure you go ahead and follow me. But I've been posting a couple of tweets every couple of days, and now I just posted something that I really think is worth discussing, because it's going to be talking about the speculation and the price of XRP, and I really think it's worth it. But before we get into the real deep stuff of today, let's quickly talk about a little bit of community stuff. HSBC Bank processed 3 million Forex transactions using XRP, accounting to $250 billion in the first year. This has reduced operational and capital costs insanely, and I keep telling people there is proof in the partnerships. Deeply dive into the topic, research, and the answers will pop up. At Bank XRP, and again, some people are talking about it in the comment section down below. Now, he added one picture that says, "What are the most compelling use cases for distributed ledger technology in the capital markets?" DLT's ability to establish a single version of the truth allows it to cut across corporate boundaries and existing market structures, which is of course pretty cool and pretty obvious. But away from securities, some other compelling applications for DLT in the capital markets include payments. So DLT can be streamlined end-to-end value transfers, reducing costs, operational risks, and settlement periods. For example, Ripple's XRP ledger provides real-time cross-border settlements using tokens that represent central bank currencies. That's a pretty interesting thing to say. In foreign exchange, HSBC's FX Everywhere tool processed more than 3 million intercompany foreign exchange transactions worth $250 billion in the first year. That's a lot of money. HSBC example, XRP using tokens that represent central bank currencies. A pretty interesting quote to make, and I definitely think it's worth a little bit of a like. Of course, guys, whenever we're talking about this type of stuff, we're talking about the bigger picture, about big money, and bigger plays over a longer period of time. If Ripple, a multi-billion-dollar company, sells blockchain and enterprise software solutions to corporates and banks, it's quite telling, and getting to know the entities buying billions of XRP locked up in escrow, I wouldn't be surprised to see central banks filling their bags with XRP secretly via over-the-counter trades. And here Michael Nardolio, or whatever, actually truly and in a good sense says here, the two statements are separate, which are stated in here. I agree, it doesn't stick out like they are though, and it's kind of misleading. Using XRP as one example and FX Everywhere as another, FX Everywhere uses permissioned technology. So kind of the two statements that we said before are two different things, which is something I see a lot of community members now mix up and have feuds or discussions about, but that's something you should keep in the back of your head. A couple of people replied here and said, HSBC wouldn't have mentioned XRP in the article in the first place if it wasn't relevant. That's true. A proof of concept was made using XRP to pilot 3 million foreign transactions amounting to $250 billion, which saved them operation costs and time. I don't completely know if that's true either. Michael said again, it's relevant because it's a DLT that focuses on payments. They mentioned it as an example. They discuss here how it was a permissioned technology. Ripple Defender said, nope, not just payments. They explicitly mentioned XRP, not Bitcoin or Ethereum. Chris Larson is on the HSBC board. I wouldn't be shocked if they were working with Ripple and eventually used XRP someday. Board and I. Sentiment easily changes. Well, we don't completely know what is going on in that sense, but we're hoping for the best, I guess. And it's cool that they mentioned them, pretty much. That's the biggest part here. One thing we mentioned earlier today in a video was from Stephen Deep, or Stephen Bull from the Deep. Nice name. He changed it. The UK defined XRP as a hybrid token, utility and exchange token, not a security. So for all those that do not know, in the XRP, in the UK, you actually have 3 different types of tokens. You have utility, exchange, and security tokens. In this case, the UK said, all right, XRP, not a security, but XRP is kind of utility, kind of exchange. What do we do? Well, we call it both, and that is called a hybrid in this case. They wanted to create a crypto valley in the UK, and regulation should not be the enemy of innovation. This is one thing that was also said inside this little interview or a little talk, that regulation that's going on around the whole world and specifically here in the UK should not be the enemy of innovation, in the sense that all the regulation that they're doing here, trying to pinpoint everything and trying to make everything streamlined and whatever, should not cost innovation to kind of die out. So in this case, of course, you got to regulate it so all your stuff can go legitimately and work smoothly and not cost millions of dollars in damages at one point. But it should also be the case where regulation is there only because it's important, but not to really just kind of oppress all these things, kind of push them all into the ground and make sure so nobody can really innovate anymore, do something crazy because it's never been done before, things like that. Here's a little bit of a 2-minute video. I don't know if it's copyrighted or not, so I don't know if I can show the whole thing. But we actually did discuss everything that was said in this video in the previous one I did on the channel. So if you are interested more into this, make sure you go ahead and check out my previous video on the channel. It is called, I don't even know what the video is called anymore. Let me quickly see here. It was called Ripple XRP Price Finally Looking Good and Mini Crypto Flash Crash. But guys, if you're watching this far, make sure you go ahead and press the like button on this video right now, because we're going to step into a little bit of a more interesting part of the video. As I asked before, if you guys are following me on Twitter, you would have already seen this tweet, but if you are not, then let's go over it. Many ask me why I like bear markets so much. There is only one thing I need to show them to change their minds, and this is always the case. Now, I added a quote here, or actually a whole page from a book, and you might be wondering what type of book this is, because it does look pretty interesting and pretty heavy. Let's quickly read this part and I'll give you a little bit more context. The silver lining. If no price seemed too high for stocks in the 1990s, in 2003, we've reached a point at which no price appears to be low enough. The pendulum has swung, as Graham knows it always does, from irrational exuberance to unjustifiable pessimism. In 2002, investors yanked $27 billion out of stock mutual funds, and a survey conducted by the Securities Industry Association found that 1 out of 10 investors had cut back on stocks by at least 25%. The same people who were eager to buy stocks in the late 1990s, when they were going up on price and therefore becoming expensive, sold their stocks as they went down in price and by definition became cheaper. As Graham shows so brilliantly in Chapter 8, this is exactly backwards. The intelligent investor realizes that stocks become more risky, not less, as the prices rise, and actually less risky, not more, as the prices fall. The intelligent investor dreads a bull market since it makes stocks more costly to buy, and conversely, so long as you keep enough cash on hand to meet your spending needs, you should welcome a bear market since it puts stocks back on sale. To conclude it all and to give you guys a good little summary, so take heart, the death of the bull market is not the bad news everyone believes it to be. Thanks to the decline in stock prices, now is a considerably safer and saner time to be building wealth. Read on and let Graham show you how. One thing to note though is the only exception to this rule is an investor in the advanced stage of retirement who may not be able to outlast a long bear market, and yet even an elderly investor should not sell their stocks merely because they have gone down in price. That approach not only turns their paper losses into real ones, but deprives her heirs of the potential to inherit those stocks at lower cost for tax purposes. Again, it's huge. This is huge. All right. So to quickly summarize it for y'all that did not understand it yet, one thing that is often misconcepted or understood poorly or in a different sense is that it is better to buy stocks when they are higher priced because you know they're doing good, or you're already like buying into a winning cow or whatever. I don't remember all those names for like the cash cow and the other phases that, you know, a new idea or project can be in. But in the sense with Bitcoin, right, a lot of people are waiting for it to cross over 20,000 again before they really want to heavily invest. They're like, yeah, if it crosses its all-time high, we know it's doing good. We know there's a bull run, and that's when we're going to put more money in. Or right now at $10,000, they're like, oh my days, it's too low, right? It's going to only go down lower. I don't want to risk it. I'm not going to get in, right? Even only if it goes above 13,000, it's looking like it's doing good. With XRP, people are like, 27 cents. That is way too low. This coin is shizzle. I don't want to get into this. what is this stupid ass coin? It was $3 before. You know, if it's at $3, then it's a good time because we know it's going to go up to maybe 4. You know, I have not gotten the best example for you guys yet, but pretty intuitively it is already to understand that at higher prices, it kind of feels more safe to buy into crypto or any other asset for that matter, because it feels like a lot of people are buying into it. It's doing good. It's safe, yada, yada, yada. While actually the converse is really the case. Exactly what you think is going on and what is safest is less or least safe. In the principle, the lower the price or the more declined it has done, sort of, how would you say, like the more it has declined, the safer it is. And yes, that might be very strange to kind of put in the back of your head, because you're like, oh, if a coin has gone down 10% for the last 15 days, every single day, right? It's all the way down. You know, Bitcoin is going down to 3,500 right now, and that's the moment that you got to buy. That's kind of strange, right? Because it's still going down, 10% every single day. Why would you be safer to buy at such a stupid period than right now when it's really high up and doing really good? In this case, not doing really good. But for example, if we were to do 2% every single day, why would it be better to buy it once it's going down than it's going up? Sort of, right? That's not talking about charts that are doing like this, of course, because you might be buying here and it goes down all the way to here. But in the normal sense of just maybe slowly declining prices, and you kind of have to know, though, that the asset you're going for is still relevant and not completely dead. Because if you're buying, for example, into a number 2000 coin, right, all the way at the end here, which is not doing good whatsoever, but nobody really cares about the coin, it could just die out and never come back up. That is definitely true. But in this case, in the book's meaning and in the tweet as well, we're actually talking more about traditional stocks. And in this case, if you're talking about any of these top cryptocurrencies, you're most likely golden. I personally do not really think that any of these coins is not going to see a higher point than they've ever done already. So that is why I do think the statement holds. Otherwise, in traditional stocks, it is very unlikely that if you go by market standards, that it will never cross a point that it did before. So in the sense that if you hold long enough, you'll almost guaranteed make profit, right? That's kind of something to go by in the stock market. With crypto, you can see it kind of two ways, but I'm personally viewing it that way as well because of these top cryptocurrencies that I believe in so much. Now, this whole book, and I've been reading it slowly but surely. Again, I'm only in the beginning here. I'm actually a little bit further, but this is one of the things that just when I was sitting, I was reading, I was like, it's a little bit of a while ago already. I was just saying, like, man, I should also show people this because this changed my mind a little bit again. It could possibly change some other minds as well, right? In this book, it's a free ebook. I just looked it up online. Type in Intelligent Investor ebook or something like that. It's completely free, and I don't even know why I'm promoting the book because it's not getting anything for me, but I think it's a cool one to read for all of y'all that are into investing. While enthusiasm may be necessary for great accomplishments everywhere or elsewhere, on Wall Street is almost invariably leading to disaster, or leads to disaster. Another one is obvious prospects for physical growth in a business do not translate into obvious profits for investors. Another golden rule to live by and to put inside the back of your head. This one is going to flow with you for the rest of your life if you just note it down somewhere or kind of mentally keep it in the back of your head. For example, obvious prospects of physical growth. In the case of backed here, right? You can see this in practical sense as well. In the case of backed here, real big, quote unquote, physical growth in business. It does not really translate into obvious profit for investors because a lot of people buy the rumors, sell the news, and things like that. And in this case, while it seems easy to foresee which industry will grow the fastest, that foresight has no real value if most other investors are already expecting the same thing. By the time everyone decides that a given industry is obviously the best one to invest in, the price of the stocks have been bid up so high that in the future returns have nowhere to go but down. For now, at least, no one has the gall to try claiming that technology will be the world's greatest growth industry. But this is actually not what that part is not what we should be going for. This first part is what I had to read for y'all. Because that is, again, kind of the situation with BACT. You've most likely seen it before, again, where, something is hyped up that much. But when the real thing happens, people don't really buy into it as much. And that's exactly what this quote explains to y'all, is that everybody's thinking the same thing, right? Oh, once this hits, it's going to go up. Well, because we've anticipated on it for so long, it's not going to go up anymore because everybody thought the same thing. The only time that this can still work, is explained somewhere in the text here as well, is when people did not expect this strange rise, or in this case, well, it seems, let's quickly read through it then anyway. Here, for now at least, no one has the gall to try claiming that technology will still be the world's greatest growth industry, but make sure you remember this: the people who now claim that the next sure thing will be in healthcare or energy or real estate or gold are more likely, or are no more likely to be right in the end than the hypesters of high tech turned out to be. In this case, it's not necessarily the newest thing, the craziest thing, but it could be anything. But the only big point there is that not everyone should know, sort of. I know that makes sense to a lot of you, just like that, so please don't make me explain it further. English is killing me today, guys. I'm really not getting all the words out. And by the way, for a lot of you that did not know, I'm not actually natively English speaking. I was taught, or I taught myself, sort of. In the Netherlands, it all goes pretty quickly. You learn with school and whatever. But that might be why some words I cannot use, or why I sometimes cannot think of words and things like that. But if you've enjoyed my English thus far, or you think it's doable, make sure you go ahead and press the like button. But yeah, would you guys like me to talk about books and quotes a little bit more often? I have a lot of cool quotes and books and things that I see which I really think I should share, but I'm like, man, you guys want crypto news, not theory, not philosophy, not anything like that. So maybe I shouldn't be sharing this, but maybe you guys like it. I think it's pretty good for your intuition and to just have some general knowledge in there, right? I can also quote up a lot of books that you guys, or at least that I would recommend you guys to read if you're going to get into investing or anything related to financial stuff. But yeah, having said that though, let's go a little bit further on with the video, as there's still a couple of things that I really want to show you guys. XRP_Alhassan on Twitter: banks won't use XRP. Haha. Then please explain to me why SAMA, Saudi Arabian Central Bank, first partners with Ripple's XCurrent, and then begins developing a comprehensive regulatory framework for crypto assets to be utilized. Wonder what they'll use. In the tweet, he also mentioned, given that the full Ripple solution may not be the Sharia compliant, Islamic banks do not use the crypto asset component of Ripple XRP. Rather, they only use the P2P connectivity component, which is XCurrent, which is Sharia compliant for their own specific use case. The Saudi Monetary Authority, I always mess that one up because it has authority in it twice, but the Saudi Monetary Authority, it would be logical to say Saudi Arabian, but I guess they're saying Saudi Authority in this case, is currently working on preparing a comprehensive regulatory framework for crypto assets to facilitate its development in the Saudi market. And then Ripple and Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, because it is Arabian, by the way. I don't know why they messed up in an important article like this, or maybe, I don't know. I've read this thing like 15 times and I messed it up every single time. I've tried it a couple of times before. Ripple Saudi Arabian Monetary Authority, SAMA, offer pilot program for Saudi banks. This was a little bit ago already. Wow, it seems like yesterday, but it's already been over 1.5 years ago since that came out. The point here is that the central banks, who is a partner of Ripple, is literally developing their own regulation for crypto assets. This is honestly comical that people can't see what's going on. I Am Legion replied and said, do you know any other coin out of the 2,000 plus that works with Bank of England, European Central Bank, Bank of Japan, Fed's Faster Payment Task Force, IMF Fintech Group, R3, which is 40 plus banks, SBI, 50 plus banks with MoneyTap, 50 governments, and 50 central banks? I do not. Yeah, there's one called okay, yep. It's a pretty funny one. Ripple market update. XRP/USD declines 5 days in a row as the hype is over. XRP/USD continues to retreat from its recent high. The next strong support comes at 26 cents, but I can't agree with that one. We're actually going pretty solidly. I mean, we're at 28 cents. On a weekly, we're going down, but it's not that bad, I would say. In comparison to the rest of these cryptos, and even in comparison to its previous way of doing things, it's not doing that bad. Definitely not. On a monthly basis, only down 0.7%. On a weekly basis, up 8.18. Yeah, I could be happy with this. I definitely think this is fine. Ripple's XRP topped at 32.68 on September 18th. Yes, it did. And has been on a retreat ever since. The coin has been sliding down for the 5th day in a row and hit 26.82 low on Sunday. The coin managed to recover above 27 cents to trade at 27.33 by press time. However, the bearish sentiments remain dominant. XRP/USD has lost over 3% of its value in the recent 24 hours and 1.2% since the beginning of the day. So what's going on? Well, Ripple CEO Brett Garlinghouse is set to speak at the Economic Club of New York on October 8th during breakfast event. And the Elite Economic Forum usually invites high-profile speakers both from the US and abroad. Thus, BG will have a chance to promote XRP and dispel some rumors and allegations about the company. That's all that you need to know for today, guys. Hopefully you all did enjoy this video. Make sure you go ahead and press the like button if you did, and also make sure you go ahead and check out all the links in the description below. Especially go ahead and follow me on Twitter, the HSBC here. You can always send me an article if you found something really cool. You can always send me a tweet if you have a question or want to tell something. If you have some other questions or you want to talk about trading or things like that, make sure you go ahead and join the Discord and go ahead and join the Facebook group. Those two things are quite important as well. I also have a link for some free Bitcoin in the description below, and I have a place where I can earn some free interest on my XRP, which I personally use to trade as well. And last but not least, make sure you go ahead and check out the hardware wallet in the description below. It is to keep all your funds safe from getting hacked or stolen or anything like that. I've seen too many times that people get hacked, so make sure you go ahead and check that out as well. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video. Take care, everybody, and have a very nice day.